Welcome to the e-commerce podcast. My name is Matt Edmondson. It is great to be with you on this very sunny day. Yes, it is. A warm welcome to you if you are a new listener to the show. It's great to have you join us. And of course, if you've been around for a while, like my good self, then a warm welcome to you too. It's great that you're here listening to us talk about e-commerce, which probably means you've got an e-commerce business or involved in e-commerce of some kind. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure why you'd be listening, unless you're thinking about starting an e-commerce business. Whatever route you are on, I would suggest, dear listener, that you head over to ecommercepodcast.net and check out the website. Especially check out the thing about e-commerce cohort. Come join us on that. These are free groups that you can join, where you get to chat to fellow e-commercers around the world, all about e-commerce, what they're going through, what you're going through, and all of that sort of good stuff. And just chat with people. We've had a few groups going, and they're great. I absolutely love them. They are totally free. Check out the website, ecommercepodcast.net, if you want to join that. Now, promo over. The promo, is it a promo? It's a free thing, and it's really cool. Maybe it is a promo. I don't know. Sean, what do you think? Is that a promotion?
I thought it was, if it's promotional, it's barely promotional. It's like, hey, I want to give you something for free.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But listen, Sean, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's great. I'm talking about e-commerce. It's all good. And specifically today, we're talking about all things Amazon, because all the people that know anything about anything tell me you're a bit of an Amazon expert and guru. So I'm looking forward to the show. Looking forward to getting into the conversation. But before we do, my overriding question right now that I have for you is, who are the faces on the cushions behind you?
Well, these are my coworkers. That is Nicolas Cage, and that is The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Of course, everyone listening to the podcast is like, Matt, what are you talking about? But if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see in the background there's some cushions on a is that a couch? A couch behind you,
Yeah,
which is
daybed.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm curious, why those two?
Well, they were the funniest of the two. That my wife got them for me because I work from home all day, every day, and she used to go to an office, so she felt bad leaving me alone with no one to work with, and so she got me two coworkers.
Your wife sounds like one interesting lady. That's really cool.
That is a fair statement.
Yeah. Fair play. Well, listen, it's great that you and Nicholas and The Rock could join us. Kudos. This is such a big show. Why would they not want to join us, right? And it's great that you're all with us. But you yourself are a bit of an expert in Amazon. So let's jump straight in, right? The question I'm starting to ask, I guess, at the start of the show is what's the biggest problem that we're making, the biggest mistake that we're making, or the biggest problem that you see with Amazon right now?
The big thing for me is I find that a lot of people try to treat Amazon like it's not its own unique channel. And Amazon is like this amazing opportunity for somebody who is trying to sell products on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, when I first got into Amazon back in 2017, it was 50% of e-commerce in the United States back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, this, and the trajectory was looking unbelievable. I thought, okay, this is the place to be, especially if you are maybe not overly into building websites and understanding Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff. And so I looked at all this and I thought, okay, this is a huge growth opportunity. But then I met person after person who tried to treat Amazon like it was just the same thing as their Shopify website. And it's like, you wouldn't do that if you started selling your products in Walmart. But why are you treating Amazon the way you're trying to treat Shopify? It's like, it's a completely different thing. And there are a lot of specific things you can do that will just give you an insane advantage that I don't know why people don't do them. So that's why I started going on podcasts and talking about it.
Yeah, no, fair play. So how are we then treating Amazon the same as everything else? What are some of the things that we're doing which lead you to this conclusion?
So a lot of people get hyperfixated on what Amazon calls ACoS, or what you might call your return on ad spend.
Yeah.
But a better metric to be focused on is your what Amazon sellers call tacos, or what the average e-commerce seller would call a media efficiency ratio. But then on top of that, the thing that people don't really think about is that Amazon, the thing that makes it so powerful, is not just the fact that it is a platform full of high intent buyers. So that on its own is a huge opportunity that I think people just kind of misunderstand. And
Yeah.
the second thing they don't really think about is like what the average Amazon shopper actually wants. They just try to shove what they're already selling into a platform that maybe doesn't want that exact version.
Yeah.
Or the majority of people who are trying to buy it aren't trying to get that specific type of thing.
Yeah.
And I can give you example after example of like people taking the wrong approach and then switching their approach, like maybe adjusting what it is they sell or how they sell it or what the size of what they sell is. And suddenly Amazon becomes this like amazing opportunity for them instead.
That's really interesting. So it's not. Well, go ahead. Give us some examples. Let's put some practical things to this. I'm really super curious.
Yeah. So the average, like, and again, I'm gonna use Shopify just because it's easy. But
We
if
just
you're
like to
listening
pick
to
on
this,
Shopify, Sean. If I'm honest with you, it deserves it. To be fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm Canadian, so I try to be nice to Shopify because they're like one of the few Canadian companies that have actually done well. Like,
yeah, no, it's fair play. It is. They have done very well. They don't sponsor this show. We do use them.
Oh wow!
But on some of the sites that we have, and some sites we don't. We do bespoke, but we do use Shopify a little bit. And so I feel like I'm in a good place to go. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's good, but it's not really, really good, is it? But anyway, that aside, let's pick on Shopify. Sean, go for it.
All right, so you're a Shopify seller. One of the first things you do if you kind of like you've got some success, one of the main things you're focusing on is increasing your average cart size so that you can afford to spend more money to acquire more customers and acquire them more profitably and kind of get your own flywheel going. Yep. You know, you ramp up your email marketing, ramp up your ad spend, you kind of like, you build your own little ecosystem. That is an amazing play on Shopify. And if you try to do that on Amazon, you're going to get killed. So one of the easiest things that people can do, and a lot of the companies that I work with are, sell some kind of consumable. So whether it's hair care, I mean, I need a lot of it, or supplements, supplements and vitamins and stuff like that, or something else consumable. One of the main things that you'll notice is shoppers, like the products that do the absolute best, show up at the top of the page and get, $500,000 worth of sales each month. Yeah. Those products are small case packs that kind of fit an individual's best trial offer. So instead of focusing on getting your CPA down to $20 a customer and selling, an $80 product through a series of funnels and that kind of stuff, what you end up doing on Amazon instead is trying to get your price point down to a place where you can sell call it $14.99 product with a $3 cost per acquisition, and then make that still profitable and massively scale it. And so that's kind of like, it's kind of the inverse. And so that's a really good example of how somebody can go from the Shopify space, realize that, okay, well, what ends up happening is they go on Amazon. They're like, oh, I tried going on Amazon. It was so bad for my brand. I'm like, was it bad for your brand? Or did you just try to shove stuff that nobody wanted onto the shelves? Yeah. Because I sometimes think that there's a lot of opportunity left on the table where somebody just didn't think to try the thing that made more sense for the channel. Yeah. And so that's like a really, really common example that I hear a lot. And so whether that's a supplement where instead of selling a year's supply, you might sell a 30-day supply. Yeah. And then another thing might be the idea of instead of selling like a huge case pack, like you can pare down your offering and then have the same big offering still available, but pare it down so that people can buy in the quantity that they want on a website like Amazon, which
Right.
is often a smaller amount.
Yeah. And you mentioned 14.99. Is that a magic price point, sort of under $15, or is it sort of $20, $25? I'm curious to where that would be.
No, the magic price point is the lowest you can get while still making money.
Yeah.
And so, I've worked with people who sell products for $4.99 and still turn a profit.
Yeah.
And I've worked with people who sell over 100 and still make a profit. It's really about, what does a shopper actually want? Like, what's a real no-brainer opportunity for them, and what's going to actually convert? Because a 3% conversion rate on something like a Shopify website is pretty good. You're like, oh, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
On Amazon, you're like, I would be telling you that your product is broken. You should liquidate your inventory and get something new. Like a price point of $20 or under, I would be shocked to see a product with a less than 20% conversion rate.
Right.
And so that's another thing, is like, no one really thinks about Amazon as this conversion machine that it is. Like, it's just, people go there with the intention of buying something.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're comparing your products versus your competition's products,
Yeah.
and making a decision based on what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another thing that Shopify sellers don't really think about, is like, you're basically in a market and everybody's got their stalls right next to each other selling the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so you really have to do a good job.
Yeah. No, so it's an interesting thing you mentioned about the conversion rate being higher. And as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, goodness, we have an Amazon site. Is that right? An Amazon store is probably the right language, isn't it? For one of our supplement brands. So we have a supplement brand, and we have that on Amazon. Fortunately, it's all in 30-day supplies, which is, I'm like, phew.
Mm-hmm.
The price point is around $20 for our best-selling supplement, the one which really kills it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is around $20. And Amazon's growing both here in the UK and also in the US.
Mm-hmm.
What I've never done is, and as you're talking, I'm thinking, it's intriguing the way you're talking about. I've never played around. We've bundled things together, like you can buy one or you can buy three. And if you buy three, you get a discount. And normally that's what secondary time buyers buy, right? It's that kind of thing. But I've never played around with creating something which is of a lower quantity and a lower price to make it easier to sell on Amazon, which I think is I don't know why I've not thought about that, right? But I'm listening to you talk and thinking, actually, that's quite a smart idea, that actually I can take something, break it down, make the price cheaper, make the quantities smaller, which ultimately with Amazon, it's not always the case, but price is an issue, right? And if you can get the price down, then your barrier to entry falls, and then actually hopefully you've got them and they'll come buy from you again.
Yeah. Well, that is like one of the concepts that we really preach. It's like this idea of rankability, which is a made up word. We define it. Yeah. Thanks. But again, right, like the big opportunity on Amazon is not just the fact that you can sell a product and limit your ad spend and make a sale. Yeah. The big opportunity is you can sell a huge quantity, get a ton of new customers who now know about your brand, and get them through getting your product to show up at the top of the page without paying to be there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing, right? It's like these organic sales, as we call them. It's like you get to the top of the page. So rankability we define it as a product that can reach the top 5 organic spots with a combination of PPC, which is Amazon sponsored advertising, and then also deals. Yeah. And so the main thing that we do is we kind of focus on, first, we look at your catalog and see which products we might consider rankable and which ones we would call incremental, right? Because like the idea is not every one of your products is going to be like fit to be at the very top of the page. Yeah. We have one company we work with who every product they launch ends up at the top of the page. But that is just they have a really, really good finger on the pulse for what their market wants. And so, I can't take credit for that. But the main thing is, do you have a product that is rankable? And so the way that you can tell if your product is or is not rankable is you compare your product's conversion rate to the top competitors' conversion rates. And, we've got like a process called like where you benchmark your competitors' conversion rates to make sure that you know if you are or are not going to show up at the top of the page.
Mm-hmm. Is that easy to do? Yeah. You're comparing conversion rates. It sounds easy enough to do, but is it easy enough to find that data?
Yes. It's all like data that would be available in your Amazon account. And then, so it's easy to find. It's tough to get because you have to do a bunch of math. We made a completely free custom GPT. It's in the GPT store. We don't want your email. Just like we wanted to create a tool that people could use to get this stuff. And so you can just plug those reports into this custom GPT and you can get your competitor's conversion rate from this tool. Now, we also it's
love
it's
that.
great.
That's genius. That's how AI should be used, I feel.
Well, first we used AI to code a dashboard that does this for us all day. So like I look at my competitors' conversion rates all day. And then after that, we were like, kind of not fair that like other people don't get to use this. So we just built it. We built a custom GPT because the inputs are the same. Like we use API data to do it.
Yeah.
But the first time we did it, we actually just used Excel exports from the Seller Central platform. And so we just plugged it all into this custom GPT. And then it takes a minute or two because I'm not a great coder. I'm an ads guy. And so, once that's done, it spits out a report and you can look at your conversion rate from ads and compare it to your competitor's conversion rate and see like, do I think I could win? And that's how we determine if a product can or cannot rank on a specific keyword. So you kind of get like a short list pretty quickly of keywords that work for you.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. So where is this GPT? You say it's in the custom GPTs in the Chat GPT store. What's it called for those that might want to go and dig it out?
It's called Conversion Rate Benchmark Buddy. Now, the problem is the custom GPT store is an absolute nightmare. I can hardly find my own GPT, and I made it, and I named it. We have a link on our website that'll take you directly there, and we don't ask for any email or anything like that. We just set up this page so that it was easier to find.
Okay, and your website, just so listeners can know?
Stonesgoods.com. Then you'd go to resources, and then to stones, plural, goods, plural.com. Then you go to resources, and then once you're under resources, you'll see Conversion Benchmark Buddy. And this tool's just sitting right there. It's got instructions on the page too. That way you can kind of just like, okay, I get this report, then this report, then this report.
And away we go. That's fantastic. We will link to that, of course, in the show notes, which... Just as an aside, if you haven't yet subscribed to the newsletter, why not? I genuinely am curious. No, seriously, but if you have, then it will be in the show notes, which will be emailed to you. It will also be in your podcast app. If you're listening to this on a podcast, just scroll down into the notes. It will be there. If you're watching it on YouTube, just look in the description. It will be there. Don't go yet, though, because obviously we've got more stuff to talk about. But it will be there. The link to the website where you can find all this great stuff. So Sean, this is great. What have you got? Any other goodies up your sleeve, maybe that we can pilfer?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm just getting going. I mean, what do you want? Like, do you want to know how to rank a product? Do you want to know?
I would love to know how to. Yeah, I mean, let me act like a proper e-commerce podcast host and ask more pointed questions rather than general ones. But it from my point of view, right? Like I say, we have this Amazon store. and it's doing okay. So how do I go from okay to better? How do I rank? How do I think about this type of thing? So I can look at the key. I can look, compare my conversion rate with my competitors and go, holy moly, they're doing so much better. And obviously, I can analyze their listings and try and figure out what's going on. But what can I do to shrink the gap between myself and my competitors?
Yeah. So there are a bunch of different things. The first the first thing I would recommend you do is look through your catalog and kind of do this benchmarking exercise, and compare yourself, like compare each of your products to kind of get a sense of like which one has the best chance of winning. Now you probably already know the answer, but there's sometimes will be a situation where you'll realize you're sitting on a mound of gold and not really know, because again, like, so especially when it comes to selling any kind of consumable, a lot of the time your competition and you are not that dissimilar. It's not like mine has a handle and his has like a button, like it's like we're both selling supplements. Maybe the ingredient mix is slightly different. Maybe the quantity is different, but the comparability is quite strong. And so what you might find, and this happened with one of our clients, is we started working together, and I had to say to them, like, look, man, you're going to need to triple your inventory order on this product today. And they're like, what are you talking about? And again, I just went through the exercise I was talking about, where it's like, look, we compare your conversion rate to your competitors. And this guy had double the conversion rate on his products. And so we went and we looked at this, and I was like, look, his is 20, yours is 40. His is 15, yours is 35. Like, we just went down a list of all these keywords where I was just like, you have an insane advantage here. Why are we not capitalizing on it? It was like, I didn't even think this was a good product. And so that's the kind of thing where, before you even focus on shrinking the gap, look at where you might actually already have a huge advantage and just not be aware of it. Now, when it comes to shrinking the gap, because there are a lot of things you can do. One of the first things, and this is not something that maybe is my idea, but something that a lot of people talk about, is the easiest way to improve your sales on Amazon is to improve your click-through rate. And so really what that comes down to is best practices around how to make your product stand out within the rules that Amazon has set up in their terms of service. So one thing that we like to do, we like to put the main keyword of the product in as large font as possible, on the product. So you can see very quickly, like, hey, if you searched for vitamin C, what the main image will say is like vitamin C 1000 milligrams per capsule kind of thing, right on the main image on the packaging. Because again, we're telling the shopper, like, hey, I don't know what else you're going to see here, but this is exactly what you're looking for. And that's one of those things that can immediately improve your click-through rate, because you are doing your best to improve a shopper's experience by saying, like, hey, I don't know what everyone else is selling. Maybe it's something you want. Maybe it's something you don't want, but this is definitely what you want. And if you take that principle and apply it to every single one of your main images, whether you're selling a supplement or whether you're selling more of like a durable good, the same principle applies.
That's really interesting. I've seen this happening a lot more and more now on Amazon, where people are starting to add a lot more text and graphics to images. It's not just simple product images anymore. There's all kinds of things. I mean, even on our own ones, some of the benefits that they're going to get, and so on and so forth on the product. So we've realized that a lot of people actually just look at the images. I'm one of them. You just go on a mobile and just scan the images and go, yeah, that's what I want. That's the price. That's fine. I never read, mainly because I don't think Amazon make it particularly easy to figure out where the description of the product is. It is there, obviously, but you've got to search for it. And so and as you're talking, the thing that's in my mind, Sean, we were talking before we hit record. You've got your own show. You've got your own YouTube channel. The thing which gets YouTube clicks is the thumbnail and title, right? And it's the same principle, isn't it? It's all about the thumbnail and title. So on Amazon, then, is it all about that image, that first image in the product title?
When it comes to your click-through rate, yes. It's the same thing. I actually have a couple of friends who sold their Amazon businesses and immediately went full-time into YouTube instead. Because they're like, it's all the same principles. However, there's no inventory cost. I don't have to do.
That's so true. Yeah, it is so true.
Yeah. And I mean, the two guys I'm thinking of, they're both like absolute sharks. Like they would do exercises like this where they compare themselves to their competitors and how to get a better click-through rate, how to improve their title to make sure they show up for more keywords and show up for more relevant keywords. So like the principles are actually shockingly similar. And yeah, it's really just about finding the people who are really looking for what you want or what you're offering and making it interesting enough for them to want to click.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the thing that's really jumped out at me. It's like when you're trying to grow your sales on Amazon, improving your click-through rate helps a lot. But the main thing that really is going to make your business grow is focusing on your conversion rate. And then once you have a conversion rate advantage, pressing that advantage as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah. And the conversion rate that you're talking about, is that, so I've got 1,000 people to click through, I've got a 20% conversion rate. So is that based on the people that click through and buy?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So if I increase, even if my conversion rate stays the same, just increasing my click-through rate, I'm going to get more sales, right? But if I can increase, this is back to the Jay Abrams thing. There's only 3 ways to grow a business idea, whereby, and this is old school, Sean. This is going back to the 1980s when I heard this. And so that's how long ago it was, this strategy. But he said there's 3 ways to grow a business. You increase the number of customers, you increase the average order value, and you increase the average order frequency. And if you focus on any one of those things and you increase each of them, if you increase any one of them by 10%, your business grows by 10%. So if I increase the click-through rate by 10%, my business will go up by 10% on Amazon, right? But if I can increase my click-through rate and my conversion rate at the same time, so they both go up by 10%, because they've both gone up, you start to get this geometric growth, if that makes sense. So it's not a 20% overall increase. It'll be like, I don't know what the math is, 21, 22%. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. And so when you pull each of those levers at the same time, you start to enter this territory of geometric growth, which gets quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Some of the things you really want to look out for when it comes to Amazon is you just want to see if, for example, if you do have a conversion rate advantage, how much do you have and what can you do with it? You know, like we haven't even talked about what you can do with it, because most people, when they sell on Shopify, always think about things in a linear fashion. Because for the most part, that's their day. You know, I spend $100 a day on Facebook ads. I get $300 in sales that day. And I want to just do that again and again and again.
Yeah.
But what they don't think about is on Amazon, you spend $100 a day. And if you do it right, you can get $1,000 back instead, because you made still those same 300 sales. But if you make the right sales, it's going to push you up the page, and you'll get those $700 worth of extra sales from Amazon just putting your product up at the top of the page because it benefits them.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you press this advantage?
Yeah. Okay. So we have something called the PAIR process. It stands for PAIR.
Yeah.
And it's really, we named it just so it was easier to talk about. So it stands for promotions, advertising, inventory, and rankability. And so say you have a conversion rate advantage, it means you went through the rankability process exercise that our custom GPT does. Yeah. And you notice you have a product that's rankable on some keywords. You're like, okay, great. So again, vitamin C, 1000 mg as an example. You're like, I have a better conversion rate here than all my competitors. I'm going to go after this. So you might say to yourself, okay, great. I already have the conversion rate advantage. What do I do with it?
Yeah.
Well, one of the easiest things you can do is run a promotion. The one that gets the best organic ranking growth is what is called a best deal. And when you go on Amazon, you'll notice these badges that say limited time deal. And those are legitimate. You can't really game those. They've got a lot of smart like software developers who kind of make sure you can't just have like a fake sale going on.
Yeah.
But what you end up doing is you run a promotion on one of those, and that's going to get you all kinds of increased visibility, but also is going to improve your conversion rate because you'll notice like it's going to attract more people to your product because it's just like, why wouldn't I click the one that's on special right now?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you also are going to take advantage of the fact that it's a limited time deal. So people know that if they don't buy it in whatever time frame, they're not going to get this deal. They're going to have to go back to paying full price. And so those two things give another advantage to you on your conversion rate, which you already have a conversion rate advantage of.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a conversion rate advantage, and then I want to increase that advantage at the same time by putting my product on special. Then the rest of the framework is pretty simple. It's like you want to use advertising to spend money where you know you're going to grow the most. And again, focus on growing your organic ranking. And then inventory comes into play because a lot of people, especially people who are from the Shopify world, don't worry about going out of stock. They're like, oh, it sucks that I'm out of stock, but like, it's okay. I'll turn off the ads. And, when the product comes back into stock, I'll send an email to everyone. It's like, no, on Amazon, you are going to be punished aggressively by the algorithm for going out of stock. And so it's better to turn off your ads while you're still in stock and pause all your deals and pause everything else to make sure that your product stays in stock all the time. Because Amazon's algorithm cares a lot about it. And then again, you kind of, the end is rankability. You can do it first, but then once you've run this exercise, you want to kind of evaluate what happened when you ran a promotion with good ads, with good inventory strategy or inventory reordering. And then, think about what could happen next from a rankability perspective. Like that's the big process that just works. Yeah.
And this is what's worked from what you've seen, right? And I guess what I'm listening to you talk, there's a couple of questions that come to mind, Sean, right? First, if the limited time deal is limited, are you running them fairly consistently, almost like, obviously not all the time, but almost back to back to try and retain that limited time deal?
Yes. Yeah, you're only allowed to have a limited time deal for a maximum of 14 days of a 28-day period on Amazon. You can tell I've had to read the fine print on this.
Sure.
Yeah. So the ideal outcome is, you have a deal 14 out of 28 days. And you can stack them as all 14 in a row, or you can call it 11 days and then 3 days where you have deals. So you can do another 11-day, one after the other. But the general idea is, you want to run these fairly consistently. You want to bake this into your margins in a way that kind of works for you. Now, again, the pro tip that a lot of people don't really think about is they just create a listing for ranking, but they don't put any of the higher count or like more expensive variations on the same product detail page. And that is a real miss because you can just spend money on the version that's going to put you at the top of the page. And then anytime that somebody clicks through and thinks, oh, actually, I would buy the higher count because it's it's a better deal. If you don't spend money on ads, but you do make sales on that product, it's going to really improve your profitability. So that is another like pro tip that you can use to really like improve your profitability while running these deals, because a lot of people will look at the numbers and at first glance say, I can't afford to do this. And like, you actually can. You just don't realize the way the math needs to work.
Yeah. No, that's really clever. Really clever. Um, I suppose that as I'm listening to you talk, having gone through my own journey with Amazon and realizing the sheer amount of money it takes to get started these days is quite extraordinary. And don't get me wrong, it's not a regret from me from Amazon, and the team have done great, but I know we get a lot of people listening to the show who are fairly new or who are thinking about starting an ecom business. And if you've been on YouTube, which I know you have, you're a YouTuber, there are, I don't know how many million videos telling me I can start an Amazon business tomorrow for no money and make $3 million in the next 25 seconds, kind of a video.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just starting out an ecom, maybe you've got a Shopify site, maybe you haven't, but you've got a product or you've got an idea. Is Amazon still worth looking at from the get-go, or would you do it differently now?
Well, I hate answering questions like this because it doesn't really help anyone. But the answer is it depends. Mm-hmm. So let me kind of break down how I would think about this. So the first question I'd be asking myself is, does this product already exist in the market?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're launching a net new product that didn't exist before, like and again, we're not trying to put some high bar on this, like you're the inventor of a new product. Is like, are you launching a new variation? Like maybe no one ever thought to combine vitamin C and vitamin D together, and you're the first person to ever do this. Or maybe you're the first person to do some kind of keyboard that is actually a lot more ergonomical. Amazon will be a good place, but the drawback is that you're going to have to fight for attention on a platform that's really designed for keywords that already exist.
Yeah.
So you might have a hard time launching a product that doesn't already have keyword search volume on Amazon.
Right.
So I would encourage you in that case to start with a Shopify first, Amazon later approach. Mm-hmm. Because you're launching something that is new to the market. And you might as well build up your own prowess. And maybe it's Kickstarter, or maybe it's just your own Shopify site, or maybe it's something else. But in a situation like that, Amazon can be a bit of a challenge. Mm-hmm. Now, on the other side of things, if you're launching a better version of something that already exists, and you think that you are going to have a better conversion rate than your competition, like people will see yours and be like, why hasn't it always been like this? That is the ideal situation for Amazon. It's like, I have a product, it's better, and people are already searching for it. That is the best place to be getting onto Amazon.
It's a really interesting point. And I guess if let's say, I've got, I have kids. And I should probably I have great kids. It sounded like I was in a prison sentence when I said it. I have kids. And so my kids are of an age where they're like, do I go to uni? Do I not go to uni? And some of them have, and my daughter's thinking about other things. So let's say I say to her, well, listen, Zoe, why don't you think about starting an Amazon business? Where would she start? Right. I mean, is there a sort of a place, a piece of software that would help her figure out this is a good selling product, and then I can use your chat GPT thing and see what the conversion rates are like and go, oh, I wonder if I can do this and this, and start to do a bit of product research. Is there something like that out there?
Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of free Chrome extensions. There's Helium 10, Jungle Scout. There are a bunch of different tools out there that you can use to kind of get going, and they might not all be free, but they'll be cheap. We're talking less than $40 a month to do some product research.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is, if you have no internet advertising experience, Amazon has gotten very professional since I got on. Like, I started doing this back in 2017.
Yeah.
And it's gotten a lot more professional, and so it can be a lot more challenging. I go onto Reddit sometimes, and I'll see people being like, Amazon is not working for me, and I invested 20K in inventory to get started, and it's like that really sucks. So I would highly encourage you to play it smart and try not to get into something that's too competitive, because you've got to remember there are multi-million-dollar businesses on Amazon who just this is not their first rodeo. They've got a team of people.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
So yeah.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's the same with Google Ads. When I first started Google Ads, we we killed it, and we had no one had a clue what they were doing, and we spent like a fraction of $1, and we got all these sales, and it's great. And it's just not like that anymore, and you can lose a lot of money really quickly on Google Ads. You can with Meta Ads. So I'm assuming now it's the same with all of the platforms, really. Amazon, all of them. Where would I'm aware of, if someone's sort of running a Shopify site, but it's just them, it's a small business turning over 400 grand, 500 grand, whatever it is, just a little mom and pop kind of business. Where would they go to learn that? Is it because I get that there's a point, like for me, Sean, I'll be totally honest with you, I could care less about learning all of that sort of stuff. I've got too many other things to think about. So I'm like, right, let's go talk to Sean. Let's get Sean involved. They're an agency. Let's get them working for us. Bang. It's working. Great. Awesome. But there's a point, isn't there, where there's a crossover for many people where they can't necessarily afford that agency just yet. And the reason why I'm asking this is I had a text message from one of our cohort members. I'm just going to pull it up here because I thought this was a really interesting point, what he said, and you'll understand why I'm asking the question. So he said to me, he's in the cohort, and he said, I'm a fan of the podcast. I've listened to every episode for the last 3 years. Which is is great. And I'm like, well, thank you for doing that. Yeah. And I can only apologize. And so in one of the shows a couple of weeks ago, I said, can you send me some feedback? Because we started doing a few of these solo episodes as well. We just wanted to see how that went. And so he sent me a massive long message, which was super kind of him. Right. And so one thing I think is a huge gap, he said, in this type of content creation, which is the feedback I'd like to bring, is to have people who are not in their millions of yearly revenue yet, which I think is a fair comment, who are in the trenches trying to survive just trying to survive basically month to month. People who have to take money out of the business to pay bills while keeping an eye on their ad ROAS, overworked and yet hopeful for the future. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
And so where does someone like that go?
So, I would not say that I have the best channel for someone just getting started on YouTube. There are a bunch of people who have like full-blown courses on YouTube about how to just kind of get started.
Yeah.
And I think, so I'm going to plug some people. So the Ad Badger podcast is good, but they're more of a podcast, more like this. But they do cover a lot of beginner topics, and that's really nice. There is Brandon Young. He'll do a lot of really in-depth stuff, so it can be easy to get overwhelmed by him. But he has like really, really like, if you followed what he's talking about step by step and you're willing to put the time in, that guy is amazing. He's got such good stuff. There's a guy called Dr. Travis. He's a legitimate medical doctor in the United States and also sells products on Amazon. Profitable Pineapple, I think is the name of his channel.
Yeah.
And then you might need to go back in time. Like you might need to kind of like look at some of the old videos. But the Helium 10 YouTube channel, which is a software company, so they're obviously going to plug their own software, but it's like, that's a good place to go. And then Jungle Scout, same kind of thing. They've got a lot of good, like, how to learn stuff on YouTube. So that's where I'd kind of go and get started. When it comes to, like, getting started or kind of early on, I am someone who, like most of my clients, most of the people I work with are in the millions of dollars per year, but we will occasionally work with somebody smaller. And the main tip I have for you, if you're like a smaller a smaller Amazon seller, is don't overinvest in ads, but just try to collect some data and kind of try to do some smart advertising. So Dr. Travis has like a whole like how to get started on Amazon ads, like 5-hour video with like really good chapters so you can skip to the part you need. And so what I would recommend is getting started and getting a little bit of data just to see if you might have an opportunity on your hands.
Yeah.
And the main thing that we'll like to do is try to get cheap clicks and then try to control where those clicks go, because you can still get cheap clicks on Amazon. I have people I work with who sometimes still get like 20-cent clicks. So, but the glory days are still here. I'm sure we'll all 5 years from now be like, oh, remember when we used to get such cheap clicks? But the main thing is, if you're on a tight budget and you're just trying to get something that works, just run a couple of automatic campaigns, is what they're called on Amazon, and see if you can get some cheap data, some cheap clicks. Maybe you get some sales. You might find out which keywords are actually going to work for you. And then from there, figure out if it makes sense for you to double down and try to grow on Amazon or not. So that's the way that if you're a small business who's thinking about getting started on Amazon, also don't send a lot of inventory. It's okay to go to inventory when you first get a product on Amazon, but after that you have to stay in. So yeah, I know I contradicted myself, but there's just a lot of nuance. If I were getting started today and I know what I know right now, that would be the advice I'd try to give to somebody, because I think that would be like highest chance of working, lowest downside.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. And we will, of course, link to those YouTube channels. I love the fact you just talked about YouTube. No expensive courses. It's just everything's on YouTube now. You just got to go find the right channel, right? It's just it's
buy my course.
Sean Stone's course. That kind of thing. No, it's brilliant. For those, you said, Sean, that your show is maybe not for the out and out new starts, but for those that maybe that aren't new starts, tell us a little bit about your show. Tell us how people find you, how they can connect with you if they wanted to do that.
Yeah, so I think I have a small but mighty show. It's my name, Sean Stone. If you type in Sean Stone and then Amazon, I should come up first. The famous movie director Oliver Stone had a son and also named him Sean Stone, with the same spelling. So unfortunately, he's going to show up first if you just search Sean Stone. But Sean Stone, Amazon, I'm the number 2 Sean Stone on the internet. Watch out. But yeah, the main thing for me is like, we want to give really actionable tips for people who are kind of not in the not in the beginning stages, because that's what I found was like, once I kind of started selling on Amazon, I was like, I don't want another thing about how to launch your first product. I'm more interested in like, okay, how do I get this product to the top of the page? Without being like, now buy my course or buy my software. It's like that was kind of like the things like, I'd rather just give away all the tips that my agency has without ever charging anyone, because I just think it's more helpful. Like, I want to contribute to the general ethos of selling products on Amazon. And so that's really what my channel's about.
That's great.
It probably would be a lot bigger if I said, and here's how you make $1 billion in 3 seconds.
With a clickbait. Yeah. It's all about the thumbnail and title. And you can just hold a wad of cash going in it, and it'll be fine. No, we don't do that. You don't do that. And that's why we get on well. I think it's one of those, isn't it? And I love this idea of giving away your best knowledge for free. It works in e-commerce, and it works for us in agency as well. And I think it's a wonderful idea. So we will, of course, link to all of that in the show notes, which I mentioned earlier. Sean, before we go, for those that have made it this far, we like to have this segment now called Saving the Best Till Last. This is where you give like the best tip for these guys. 2-minute tip. The mic is yours. Go for it.
Okay. So my best tip is going to sound like a reiteration of what I already said, but this really works. So if you have a product that has a better conversion rate than the competition, again, we call it conversion rate advantage. It's a rankable product, blah, blah, blah. Fancy namings. But you have this product that can rank. You want to, we have a secondary framework that I didn't really get into called BCIT, BCIT. Again, terrible name, but it really, really works. So you want to benchmark, then compare. So you want to benchmark yourself to the competition, then compare. So go find your competitor's conversion rate, then go and compare your conversion rate to competitor's conversion rate. That is benchmark and compare. We already talked about that.
Yep.
What we didn't talk about, the thing that is absolutely killer, is isolating each of your keywords where you have a keyword conversion rate advantage. So the way that works on Amazon is you would create a new advertising campaign and you would, in exact match, put the keyword that you have a keyword conversion rate advantage in, and that's the only keyword in that campaign.
Yep.
And then you would isolate that keyword because it's got its own budget. There's nothing to compete with it. And then you want to spend like crazy on that keyword. And on the other side of things, you also want to track your keyword organic ranking. So benchmark, compare, isolate, and then track. And when you do that, you're going to get really fast feedback about what different experiments you run on that keyword that are going to lead to organic keyword rankings. So maybe you started out 10th organically, but then suddenly you realize, oh, I ran a deal and my organic ranking shot up. Okay, great. Let's run more deals. Oh, actually, the deal didn't do that much, but when I doubled my spend, I went from 10th to 5th. Oh, let's do more of that. So it's like this feedback loop of benchmark, compare, isolate, and track.
Yep.
That is, to me, it seems like a no-brainer, but people don't do it. And it is just like, just do this and watch your organic rankings climb and watch your sales climb with it.
Fantastic. Benchmark, compare. What was sorry?
Isolate.
I was going to say iterate, but I was definitely wrong. Isolate and track. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sean, listen, man, it's been great talking to you about all things Amazon. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some great value. Super appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Like I love what your show stands for. And I hope that I just did it justice and did a good enough job trying to share value. So thanks
totally.
so much, Matt.
No, it's been great. Thank you so much. And thank you, listener and watcher, if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this week. Make sure, like I say, you've subscribed to the newsletter if you haven't done so already. And do check out eCommerce Cohort if you want to come join some like-minded individuals. It's pretty easy. It's just on Zoom. You don't have to go anywhere. And they normally about once a month, last about an hour and a half, somewhere around there. So come say how's it and meet some people. It'd be great to see you in there. But that's it from me. That's it from Sean. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fantastic week wherever you are in the world. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.